Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at Defending America from Compass Games. So this is the latest Greg Smith design. Greg Smith's done The Hunters, The Hunted, Silent Victory, Interceptor Ace, Night Fighter Ace. Just a ton of these solitaire narrative style games. This is the most recent one. And this is kind of the companion, is what I'm going to call it. Or like the kind of the opposite side of his most recent one, where you were... It's 1947 to 1948, so this is kind of like alternative future going, and it's, you know, long-range Nazi bombers taking on the American East Coast. And you had to go and do those bombing raids. You were Red Skull from the Marvel Universe. TM, you weren't, but it's kind of what it felt like. And it was doing that. So this one, you're the Americans defending against what may have happened had things not turned out the way they did. Thank heavens they did. So this is just kind of a fun solo game that you're going to kind of play through, and you get to shoot down a whole bunch of Nazi bombers. What's not to like about that? So, what we're going to open up here, we've got our dice. So, two different colored D6s. And a D10. You'll roll these as D66 at times, and then you got a D10 that you're going to roll in a whole bunch of charts as you go through this game. Components, listing, mats and charts, replaces box and rules. Okay, so there's like one item of errata. The rest of this is stuff that's different from the list of components on the back of the box, which is unimportant. Oh, there's another D10. I didn't see that one. So we're going to get two of those, probably for rolling D100s at some point. So, Rulebook. We're going to start with, this is 24 pages out of rules. Oh, and it's nice and it's full color. We appreciate that very much. So if you've played any of these games, you take charge of like a single fighter within a squadron, and you're going to be scrambled and sortied to shoot down bombers. And you're going to roll through charts, and you're going to try to do attacks, and it's a lot of dice rolling and seeing what happens, and you get stories out of that. It's a narrative style game. You're trying to not die whilst you conduct your missions, and you might kind of gain experience and get promoted and level up and get a better plane with better armaments, so you're more successful over the course of your campaign. But that's kind of the gist of what this game is. So we have a nice pad of, I don't know, 10 or 12 sheets, which are dual-sided. So we got October 47 to... Okay, so we get April 47 to March 48. So it's this way around. I'm holding it upside down. That's why I look like a moron. So yes, you're going to put your little call sign on here, and you mark off, hey, where's the raid going that we're intercepting? Because that's going to modify kind of how and when you do attacks. And then if you find bombers, if you attack and shoot them down, you're going to list those here, basically. So you got a bunch of these, and you photocopy these the more you go through the campaigns, because you just write on those and fill them out. So then we have a huge amount of planes and play aid cards here. Alright, let's open these. Okay. So, these are the... oh, okay, good. These are the enemy bombers that you'll be shooting down, and or 262s are base might be their escorts here. So when you attack them, there's little damage markers, and you attack their port wing, and you do a couple damage. The markers are going to go down. If ever the marker hits the DE, the destroyed, their port wing basically is shot off, and they're going to fall out of the sky and die. Right? Real simple. The bombers start to get really, really big. You got to do a lot of damage to them. And you're going to probably have multiple opportunities to do so, but it's also going to cause, you've got to check your fuel, you're taking damage as well, your risk-reward elements to that as well. So there's 4 different enemy targets that you might come across that you'll have to intercept and attack over the course of the game. We have our skills and damage charts, so you will gain skills, and this is just a reference. I actually really appreciate these. A lot of the times in previous games it's just printed in the book, you have to look it up, having it on a chart, big win, like that stuff. This is the little D66 that you're going to roll. When you get attacked, You're going to roll to see where you take damage, basically. And that's what this game is. There's lots of charts. You're going to roll to attack. You're going to roll to do damage, a similar type of thing. And then when you do damage, so if your oxygen goes out, what's the effect of your oxygen being out? Or if the bombers' radios get taken out, we're better at doing those things, or it's harder for crews to get rescued, things like that. So that's one of the charts. Here we've got our random events chart, our serious wound resolution. Like if I'm wounded, like as a pilot, I get shot down and I'm wounded. What is it like? What happens to me from a story standpoint? Oh, it's a scalp wound. But what's the game effect? I missed 2 sorties because I'm in the infirmary healing up. We have this might be new. You have to go through flight school. That's very interesting. You get to choose one of the 3 on how to spend your spare time. Interesting. I think you might roll on some of these and pick some of these, and that's going to give you just some extra abilities in your for your character. It helps to define your backstory a little bit. So, now we're getting on to the fun stuff. This is all the stuff that you, as a player, are going to be playing through and flying. So, these are a lot of not real fantasy planes. So we've got F7, F3 Tiger Cat. We've got the Boeing XF-8B1. Moonbat. XP-81. P-80A Shooting Star. There's a couple jet fighters. F-8 Sabre. So some of these are real. That's interesting. Bearcat. And I think the ones that aren't like real, at least maybe had a couple of sketches and designs on them. I think Fury, Banshee, and if you've played, is it America Bomber is what it's called. If you've played that, you as the bomber are trying to fend these guys off. So this is just kind of the opposite side of that coin, basically. Black Widow, Scorpion, Bell, and a Shooting Star. And very similar kind of to how the enemy targets work. You have all these boxes for how much damage you're taking on your port wing, or if your controls get shot up. Your airframe's going to take a bunch of damage. You'll have markers controlling all of that stuff. You have your endurance markers, which I think your endurance is basically I think that is equal to it's like a fuel rating, I think. Yeah. So, but you're not going to have all these. You're going to have one that this is what you're piloting at any given time. So you're going to have one of these, and basically this, and then a handful of the following charts. Oh, there is more of these. Nice. That's what we want to see. Okay, cool. We will get to those here in just a second. Nice. We really like that. So we had all those charts over here. These are the charts that you're rolling on to attack and do damage. And then we've also got, this is your air raid chart. So on any given date, you're going to roll the dice. This is where the enemy are coming for. And it tells you the zone in which they're coming. And that's where you have to fly to and from. And what that... And so then you get a certain number of turns in which to intercept, to try and find them, and then to shoot them down, basically. There was, at the bottom of the box, another sheet of enemy fighters, or enemy bombers, targets. So good. Like that. More variety is always fun with these huge, massive 4 and 6 engine bombers that we're going to shoot down as well. We like that. And then we have, when you're actually attacking your target, you choose where you're approaching from. You've got a number of turns with which to do your approaches, and a whole bunch of modifiers based on where you're approaching from. And then these are your dress-up dolls, basically. So you get to choose, as you gain experience and prestige, you gain those skills, which were listed on those charts. You have little markers on here. You're going to get medals and bits and pieces that you're going to pin to yourself. So this is just kind of like a little marker. You can use these. You don't really necessarily need to if you are really strapped for space. You can just kind of note those down or write them down on a piece of paper. But yeah, the reality is you're going to end up playing on just a couple of these cards. So you can squeeze it, on the side of your table whilst you've got other war games going on, which is quite nice. And that's kind of how I play these ones, because I play them concurrently to other things that I've got going on. I think the last couple bits and pieces we got in the box, we have... Oh, wow. Okay. This is our kind of zone map. If you've played America Bomber, if you've played B-17 Queen of the Skies, this looks very familiar to you. What's nice about this one is that it is mounted. I think that's the first mounted one of theirs I've seen. Got a little sequence of play you can follow, and then they're taking off and they're flying through these zones, and then they're coming to zone 5, and so depending on where, if you're based on one of these carriers or if you're land based, you've got a certain number of turns to fly and intercept them, basically. The last thing that we have is this sheet of counters, which is shrink wrapped, and it's shrink wrapped because these are falling off. These are very, very well struck, it looks like. So I'm going to be careful with these because I don't have to clean all these up. Yeah, these are like falling out. And what's nice is... Oh, okay. Come on. Okay. There is also, I believe, that I saw... Ah! Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. These... Oh no, it's not ended well. There are... I don't know if these are errata counters, but they have some... I think they might be for America Bomber. These are going into the America Bomber game, if you have that one. So these are just falling off the sprues. These are nice, thick grey core counters. So you've got things like your ammo tracks, your damage markers, and then all of these... So you're going to choose, one that corresponds to the plane that you're in. You might have a wingman, various different ranks and awards that you can get over the course of the game, and then some status markers for if you're wounded, if they've got atomic bombs and things like that listed. But like we said, things like the damage markers, you'll have a damage marker. Oh, I got shot in my wing. You put it on the first hit on your wing. You get shot again, it's going to move to the second hit, and then move to the third hit. Your wing's going to fall off, probably going to crash and die. You're going to roll dice to see if you parachute out successfully. Then you're going to roll to see if someone picks you up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which, have fun with that. It's probably not going to happen. But that's the kind of the game this is. It's not the most serious, especially with this particular subject matter that's kind of like, a fantasy, not fantasy, but like alternate history. This is just for fun. You get to come shoot down a whole bunch of big old German bombers. What's not to like about that? So this is the newest of his titles. If you played any of his games, you kind of know what you're going to get yourself into. You're going to get some fun stories out of this game, and this one's a bit more on the pulpy side, so you're going to get that extra added level of fun and lack of caution, because who cares, because it's not real, I suppose. So, Defending America from Compass Games. Feel free to check this out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from thePlayersaid.com.